Hi, and welcome to a Spring 1 review presentation for our app called Finova, a financial tracker app designed to help users create transactions, expenses, and budgets in a user-friendly way. The purpose of this meeting is to show how much work has been done during the spring, the challenges we faced, and the areas we need to improve on. But first, a quick introduction of the team. My name is Hamza, and my role is the Scrum Master and developer of this project.
Hi, my name is Ethan, and my role is the product owner and developer for this project.
And my name is Jash, and my role is the developer of this project.
My name is Liang, and my role also the developer of this project.
So for our main sprint goal, it was to create a basic version of the app where users can sign up, sign in, log in, and input their expenses.
At the start of our sprint, the team discussed and agreed upon a common definition of done, through which we judge whether or not a user story meets the standards to be considered done. Our main criteria for a user story to be deemed done was that the code has been written with basic error handling features in place to prevent any crashes or broken flows. The features have been tested ideally by a different person than the developer, and that there are no major bugs and any minor issues are documented.
We also discussed and crafted 8 user stories that we believed would help us achieve our spring goals. Here they are.
First, our users need to be able to create an account and be able to log back in to that account, which is a core part of our sprint goal, and support secure access to their income, to their expenses data, which is essential for the user experience.
Next, for our second user story, the user needs to be able to record their daily expenses and spending so that they can track them over time and be able to receive some sort of notification when they exceed their budget, which directly aligns with the sprint goal of letting the user input their expenses and managing what they enter into our app.
So we also want our users to create a custom expense categories and add notes to their transactions, which supports the spring goals by enhancing how expenses are entered and reviewed.
And lastly, we want our users to set up multiple budgets, weekly, monthly, and yearly. And we also set saving goals and track their progress towards their goal. This, of course, aligns with our sprint goal by supporting users to understand and manage their finances.
As you can see, our Spring 1 backlog was ambitious, and we did have to rescope some user stories to be able to meet deadlines. Despite this, we made strong progression towards our goal meeting, meeting nearly every deadline and finishing the most important user-facing features. And now I'm going to demonstrate our user stories. This is our sign-up page. I'm going to input my username. I'm going to input the email address. And I'm going to input the password. Click on the sign up button. Yep, the account has been created and I'm on the main screen. Now I'm just going to go to the transaction tab. I'm just going to enter any random transaction. 12,000 test. And for category, I'm just going to write test category. And I'm going to add transaction. Transaction added successfully. You can see in the recent transactions, it has been added successfully. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to sign in, enter my username. Yep, the account has been created and I'm on the main screen. Now I'm just going to go to the transaction tab. I'm just going to enter any random transaction. 12,000 test. And for category, I'm just going to write test category. And I'm going to add transaction. Transaction added successfully. You can see in the recent transactions, it has been added successfully. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to sign in, enter my username and my password. Sign in. And as you can see, the recent transactions page shows my transaction.
So we have signed in. We will go to budget, create new budget. So let's say we're trying to set a budget of $500. I'll give it a name of, we'll just name it B1. And let's say I want to pay $500. I want to say $500 monthly, and I want to save the $500 for clothes. So this would be just general shopping for clothes. So save budget. Budget has been saved. So we can see here that the budget has been created. The name we gave was B1, amount 500. Spend 0 because we haven't really spent anything. The frequency is monthly and it's for clothes. moving on to our goals page, we're going to create a new goal. Let's say we're trying to save money for a Rolex. We'll save it. We'll set the name as Rolex, and we're trying to save maybe 20,000 for the Rolex. And currently, let's say we have 15,000, and our deadline for this would probably be 27 of July. We'll go with the first 01. We'll save the goal. Goal has been created successfully. So you can see that we've already reached 75% of our goal. We've already saved 15,000, which is 75%. And if we want, we can add another $10 to it, or we could delete it.
I'm gonna show the transaction page. Sign in first. Okay, now. So about the transaction page is if you enter the amount 100 description, anything, I just ask. So the categories will be more important because you say it's for budget tracking. So if you write the same categories like close into transaction. Things transaction. So like successful transaction add, and the categories will be add like 100 out of 500, and it will also shows in budget page here. It's already spent 100, but if you don't want, let's see 100. If you didn't write anything, it will goes nowhere. Yep.
Now I'll demonstrate the expenses pages using categories. So we will sign in. And now we can go to the expense pages. And if we add a category here, we can choose the name of it. Let's say we're going to add an expense category for clothes. And we can choose an icon. These are the set icons that we have set in the app. And now for that category, I can add an amount of expense that I've set for clothes. So let's say I spent $50 at warehouse on clothes. And I can add that, and that shows up here. And I can add more expenses for this clothes category or add another category here. So in our burn down chart, we noticed that our progress was a bit uneven. Specifically in the beginning, we were flatlined for about a week, and this was because we're still setting up our environment, and some of the tasks were completed later in the sprint than we had initially planned. This was mostly due to the scope adjustments that we mentioned earlier and delays in setting up our project environment and getting everyone's GitHub connected. We had problems there with branch merging, and it slowed us down because we had to manually merge a lot of our branches. And however, we did manage to complete nearly all of our user stories, which was able to see at the end where we finally completed all of our user stories after connecting our pages to Firebase, which was one of our main challenges. And it really inhibited some of our group members from completing their user stories fully because that was what their user stories really relied on. But at the end, we did finish them, and this showed that momentum and learning to pace ourselves better for the next sprint.
So each user story was tested by the developer who implemented it and then reviewed by someone else in the team using the Expert Go app, which simulates mobile apps. They checked whether there were any obvious errors and also checked edge cases to ensure robustness. Additionally, the Firebase database was also checked by the team to ensure that data storage and retrieval was working properly. A user story was considered to be done once it had passed all these steps.
So based on this definition of done, we finished 7 of our user stories. The user story of receiving notifications when exceeding the budget wasn't able to complete it because we experienced unacceptable challenges when properly integrated Firebase to pages other than sign up and login. And since the notification feature required other features to be properly create, maintain, and connect to the Firebase.
So for sprint 2, we're going to focus on making a few key improvements. First, we're going to structure our daily stand-up meetings more effectively. We had waited to do them for the first week and fell behind on them, so we had to catch up at the end of the sprint when we should have been focusing more on coding. And second, we plan on improving the use of our GitHub by following better branching commit practices so that we don't have to do any more manual merges. And we'll also dedicate more time to learning more about Firebase so that we can use it more effectively in our project, because that was a main limiting factor in finishing some of our user stories. And then finally, we're going to establish some cleaner code conventions to keep our code base clean and consistent across the team.
So we'll be adding this video under our documentation column in our Trello board. We hope you enjoyed this review of our progress so far. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Sprint 2.